Hello. Hey, everybody. So I am running relatively late for my doing because I just set this up because I was cooking dinner and then trying to eat it all as much as possible. I did short, like I didn't decrease my portion a little bit to be able to go live in time here, but I still need to, before the first sprint, make sure that I register the amount of pages I did on my commute. Um, because that is one thing that I'm tracking this year, so I need to make sure that I know how much. Okay, 21 pages, spreadsheet. So, how are you all doing? I am currently reading, it's exactly the same pages as yesterday. I am currently reading Kushiel's Chosen, and things just took a turn. I mean, I knew they would, you know. I expected that they would, and there was like some, not really foreshadowing, but if you read many books, you know that, and no element is ever introduced without any reason. So I knew that this element was going to come back at some point, and so we've just gotten to that point. And so yeah, this morning I ended my bus ride on like the biggest sort of like not cliffhanger, but it was a cliffhanger for me because I had to wait for until the entire workday was over before I can pick this book back up. So I am definitely enjoying it. But I see some people are here. Hello. Hey, hey, hey. Hello, everybody. Hi. What are you guys all reading? I was hoping, well, at the beginning of the month, up until the last week of the month, I was still hoping to finish Kushiel's Chosen this month, but then the moment in which I knew that I wasn't gonna like spend my entire week on it, I kind of knew like, yeah, it's not going to get finished before the end of the month because it is like somewhere 700 pages or something like that currently. I don't always reach 100 pages a day, so I knew like I'd need more than a week to probably get through it, but I am, we'll see how it goes, but I might be tempted to read more than my maximum allowed reading time today, which I have not done very often, but who knows. Okay, okay, okay. I don't know how you want me to pronounce that, but hello, Tufty. Hello, how are you? I'm cleaning, then I will shower, and then we'll continue the Bone Shard Dollar. Yeah, the Bone Shard Dollar is another one that was like a maybe for my March TBR, and I'm tempted to move it to the April TBR still. On the other hand, I'm also like, oh, there is also so much in April that I want to read regardless of those things. So we'll see. I think, like I did in March, I'm just going to allow myself to not stress about what I do read, what I don't read. I don't have any obligation for the month of April. Um, like the only real obligation I ever have is the Kushil series, just because I'm a host for that read along as well. So aside from that, there are a lot of things that I would love to do, but I will allow myself to not be too upset with myself, hopefully, when I don't get to those. Hey, Raf. I haven't read anything the past week, and I'm currently snatching up all the romance freebies. Lol. Nice. I have committed to joining an April readathon. I am frantically rushing to finish my March books, so I'm reading The Bone Shard Dollar tonight. Nice. You were reading it together with Assassin's Quest right now. I saw it on your tweeters. I still am, yeah, I still need to pick up Madship from the library. I already checked it's available, so I should just find the time to like pop into the library to go and get a copy, because that is definitely the book that I'm most looking forward to reading in April, because I had such a great time with the first book, The Ship of Destiny, in 2 months ago, February. My Italian learning brain was like, Oggi? Yeah, true. Oi, oi, oi. Oggi? Yes. Today is the day we sprint. I've just put Nick to bed and I'm halfway How to Sell a Haunted House. I need to finish before Saturday evening and 20% into Percy Jackson Titan's Curse, and I need to finish that before Monday evening. I assume because of live shows and stuff like that that there's an actual deadline connected to these. And by the way, Happy first day of Magical Readathon for you, Judith, right? Because I think you were also Order of the Crescent. I mean, also, I say also, but I'm not. But Bora is. I listened to Anxious People while, and the rest of that comment disappeared, I assume. Hello, hey Barbora. Gonna read Spells for Forgetting today. I basically stopped my Fairy Loot subscription, I think, the month in which Spells for Forgetting was the book because I didn't really have much of an interest in it. But to be fair, I also didn't know much about it. But I've heard really great things. Still need to start, Boneshard Dollar. Same. I am undecided if I will read more stories in the Book of Queer Saints or start my memoir, This Monk Wears Heels. Have not heard of either one, but you can maybe like try one of them and then switch to the other one if it doesn't really if you're not really feeling it. Hello! Reading the Blackwell Companion to Arthurian Literature and trying to end this day less miserable than it was so far. Here's hoping. I'm not gonna keep on saying this every time the comment comes because then it'll just be a running loop at some point. I've spent a fair chunk of time today potting on my chili plants, so I have a greenhouse full of them that I still need to bring in. I will get a temperature alert from the greenhouse shortly. Nice. Then I need to make some dinner too. It's a rush to get everything done in the evenings. Yeah, I also I left work a little bit later than I typically do on a Thursday to get to sprints, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait, but I also still need to cook. So things were a little bit tighter than was comfortable. Hello. You changed your name, Hans Sneakers Art. Hello, good evening. I started my Aurelium. Yes, it was yesterday. I thought you guys had today, that you guys started today with Aurelium, but so it was yesterday that you guys could start. Nice. Yes, both for book club or read along. And thank you. I'm in the Order of Crescent Moon. Oh, skipped here. I'm writing blog posts that are going to get released over the next couple of days. Have fun with that. Well, worst case, I have beer. Yeah. Worst case, we can ease it that way. I was a bit late with Percy Jackson, so I just used it for Aurelium. Yeah. To be fair, indeed, if I'm not going to be, I mean, I don't think I'm going to be finishing Kushiel's Chosen this month because that would mean finishing it tomorrow. And on average, I've been getting to may probably just 12% a day in it. So there's no way that I'm gonna get to 25% today and 25% tomorrow in it. So it'll definitely be for the weekends. But that means I can indeed count it for Aurelium. I need to check my prompts whether something fits it. The gas cat was at the end of my garden today. When I went outside, it came running over, but was more interested in the opium patio door behind me. It went inside to explore, likes to explore. Yeah, my cat spent the night in my bedroom. I allowed them once again, but at 2:30, this delightful creature that you all love to hear meow was also meowing right next to my face. Yes, this is my online name everywhere else and also my old YouTube name. Don't think I'll make videos anytime soon. And I more so venture into the art YouTube side. Nice. I'm at the page 101 of the book, The Light We Lost. Hello, we'll be doing nothing. We support this. Bye. I've started sitting outside in the garden reading, so reckon my reading rate will start to improve along with the warming weather. Yeah, it's prime time for you. This is when you shine. Meow, meow. Yes. And I was actually impressed with them because typically they are not allowed in my bedroom. And every time that I allow them, they prove why they're not allowed. But typically they prove it within the first 20 minutes or so because Buffy really likes to to sleep on my lap or on my chest then when I'm lying there, but I cannot sleep when she's on me because I'm alone. I'm used to the feeling of nothing surrounding me. Only my blankets may touch me when I'm sleeping. So it's very distracting and I find it very difficult to fall asleep then. But then, like, within the first 5 minutes of me allowing them into my bedroom yesterday, Fate was already under the blanket next to my feet, but she luckily left pretty soon. But Buffy was behaving, so I thought it was okay. And 2:30 came around, and I need to change that because wow, this is what you get when I don't have enough time to set up because I forgot to check the volume. I think it's just the volume of my PC overall, probably. Just lower that. Yeah, better. Okay, sorry for that, guys. But let's go into our first sprint. See you guys in 40. Hello, we're back, and I'm really at a good part of the book, so I actually wouldn't have minded this section going a little bit longer. So yeah, we'll definitely see like if it's gonna be as action packed still by the end of these sprints. I probably will go a little bit later, like not online, but I will still Oh my god, I did it again. Okay, great. So, how long was that this time again? Almost 3 minutes again. And this one was even more stupid because time I just forgot to unmute myself. So, well, welcome back, everybody. So I had a great reading sprint and I'm really enjoying my book, but now I could just hit myself for being so stupid because I saw all of a sudden these messages. I have to be paranoid about it again from now on. Yeah, the problem is I'm like still way ahead of the chat whenever it goes. So yes, this is all of you trying to get my attention. Not happening. Why does this always happen to her? Because I am stupid. This is not even a malfunction. It's just me being very annoyingly stupid. You're missing all the cat action. Yeah, you're missing my sort of like cat tips, but I didn't actually give you any cat tips. I was just saying that, you will figure it out over time and that Buffy kind of likes me to pet like the side of her body and even her belly, but it's always a danger zone because you need to be able to retract your hand really quickly when they decide that enough is enough. Now I wish I could read lips. This is just my secret plots to make you guys learn to read lips again. Seriously, I want to hear Buffy yelling. Yeah, you did miss quite some Buffy yelling. I'm afraid. I'm afraid so. Missing it all? No, you not. Yes. For 23 pages. Nice. I in the end got there, but it only took 3 minutes. We need a backup option to bong my laptop. Yeah, the problem is even like I have zero notifications on my phone, for example, so you cannot even like message me on Discord. It wouldn't even help. You wouldn't even be able if you sent me a message. I wouldn't even check it. Probably. If you called me, but I don't even know. I think it is on. No, it's not even on vibrate. Remotely, yes. Yes, I did again. Just a few more minutes, a few minutes of quiet, frustrating contemplation, I guess. Ah, wait, that's weird. I was unmuted briefly and then I muted again. That's weird. Read one chapter on Arthurian scholarship and prose retellings in the 19th century, now in the middle of one on Victorian poetry and April. You watched Becca's. Oh, nice. I also want to watch that, but I'll watch that after sprints. True, the ballet is a trap. Yeah, I mean, she does really like it, and it's so soft, so I also like it. But then, yeah, as you said, it's always a trap, like you can kind of see them, like you can kind of see it in the eyes sometimes, but I'm really enjoying Anxious People so far. The audiobook is great. Sorry I'm late. You didn't miss anything. 3 minutes of me talking to apparently nobody because I was muted. Hello, I'm busy making dinner but ready to read once that's done. Nice. Did you rest did you rest enough the other day, or did you just read like 10 more books instead? Lol. Yeah, it was you who was reading Alloy of Law, right? That was you, right? Alloy of Law from like the whole Mistborn era too for me is also like not really my favorite. But I still need to read the final one, The Lost Metal. I say as if I can read it from here. Um, but yeah, I don't have great hopes, so I've been procrastinating on it. I do know some signs of sign language, but reading lips I cannot. Well, it's an entertaining occasional event to have a mic mute moment. We all get to share the moment, which is fun, as long as you're having fun. I managed to read 2 pages before I thought to go make dinner. Then I was bringing my plants in from outside, so once again, I utterly failed to make any progress during a sprint. I'm so bad at this. I mean, you're consequent. You're consequently not getting any reading done. Though I believe, like, didn't you last time during the last sprint end up reading some? And in the end, mango tree climbing scene in the Bone Shard Daughter for anybody that's read that far into the book. A mango tree climbing tree scene. Very specific. Also talked a few minutes once. Wait, Alexandra Roslin also talked a few minutes once when she was still muted, so you're not alone. I definitely need to keep an eye on it because, yes, I'm alone, so nobody can tell me that I'm not doing it. So I should be paranoia checking it a little bit more. And I'm sure I will for the next few sprints. It's once I'm like it's once it's been long enough since I've done it that I will start to feel better again about my capability to not make stupid mistakes, and then it will just happen again. I finished my read and knocked myself out. Well, bringing the plants inside and eating is also progress. Yep. See, that's an excellent plan. That's not how you spell excellent. Yeah, I was saying to my one of my colleagues today because I was also typing something and like letters were like jumbling around, like either changing orders or like being stuck to the wrong, like being stuck to the word before instead of to the word that I was starting to spell. So I was telling my colleague like I'm really clearly trying to test this sort of theory that says that if you scramble your letters, as long as like enough of them are correct, your brain will still be able to know what people mean. So I'm clearly really trying to test that theory on a daily basis with my typing, but I understand the struggle definitely. But what I was thinking is I actually also need to check for what's it called, magical readathon, whether the book that I'm currently reading, Kushiel's Chosen, could serve for anything. So let me just quickly check what prompts I actually have. Because I obviously have not actually done any preparation work into Magical Readathon, except for writing down the prompts. But the prompts really aren't that easy with my TBR. So my character was going for a combination of two careers. She is basically a sort of like she's an assassin or she's trained to be an assassin, but she's like incognito. And so she wants to be an illusionist rogue, but she basically officially is going after the Rift Architect as a sort of like stand up, honorable career that's kind of, like her fake career so that people think that so that she doesn't become suspicious. But Bit Illusionist Rogue and Rift Architect in total, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books that I need to read, and I don't know whether any of these is going to fit this book, because one is like read a book with a wolf on the cover in the title or the author's name. Can definitely not use this one for that, unless Kushil is secretly the word for wolf in some sort of a language. Um, then a book that matches, like match the color of your book to the book cover. I guess I could do that. I think Kushil's Chosen. You have different covers for it, but I think they're pretty muted tints. If and I think one of them is even just like a black cover, so could be easy enough. Clouds on the cover and the title, not the case. Too easy in the title. That would work. Kushil's Chosen. Kushil has an E and Chosen has an E. So that could work. Then Book from a Top Shelf, for which I've actually cheated and added some books to my top shelf. Between 389 and 415, definitely not. And then Recommended by a Friend. Could do Recommended by a Friend as well, because it's Sarah who is hosting the read along. She's the one who's been recommending it forever. So I do have two options for it. So that's nice. Where were we? Finished my dinner and read 10 pages. There's quite a bit of office politics going on at my place at the moment, but I'm fortunately so low down the totem pole that I get to watch on unaffected. Okay, nice. So far, I'm liking this book greatly. That's always nice. I'm really bad at typing, and I learned in school with the paper over my hands and everything. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. That definitely is not something that we did like that. I never did like the typing course to be able to type quickly, or like to be able to use all of your fingers. And I basically don't use a ton of fingers when I'm typing either. But um, yeah, I'm pretty okay typing wise, but not like definitely like on a smartphone, definitely a lot less. I definitely like a full keyboard a lot more. And yeah, when I'm like typing for something like chatting or whatever, then I just don't really that a lot of times I will just like press enter before reading over what I just typed. I signed up to the Keymark Discord TBR Blitz Readathon. What a name. I went in thinking I could use my current books and just carry on reading. Turns out a rule prohibits already started books. That is not nice. I've never done any readathon. I feel like I'd be really terrible at it too. Yeah, typically like the magical readathon is the only one that I actually like try to fully do. But also at this point, because I've managed it twice, and so now I feel like I've got skin in the game or something like that, I guess. But typically I just like say I'm gonna do it and then just like casually read like one or two books for it, and that's about it. Though I've also done pretty okay with like the whatever-a-thon, because basically there you could read whatever you want and it's not like you have to fit a prompt or whatever. So that also just helps. I'm on book 31 or 32. Wow. Amazing. I do readathons all the time and I'm terrible at them. Yeah, it definitely isn't the case that you need to be good at them to be able to do them. It can also just be a nice like way to make you kind of motivated to pick things up, or just like make you like guide you in your choices, or just be a way to talk about books with people and feel like you're all kind of, involved in one big adventure together. So I had 3 books ongoing simultaneously yesterday, but I powered through an ebook. This weekend I hope to finish the Bone Chart Daughter, then need to accelerate Assassin's Quest. Yeah. When is the due date for Assassin's Quest, or will you just be going over it at this pace? Because I think that was more or less a conclusion, right? That you wouldn't be able to finish Assassin's Quest on time, so you were prioritizing Bone Shard Dollar. Just change clothes so it matches the book. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll definitely be like at that point in time, I'll be finishing it while reading, while wearing something that fits the book, I guess. But yeah, I could do that. But so I think I've seen other options. Maybe I should try to look whether I have books that only fit one of those options so that I don't like jinx, like so that I don't block myself with a later book in a month. But yeah, I'm just planning a black. Oh, I'm just planning a black book for that because odds are high that the color I'll be wearing on any given day. Yeah. I basically use only two things. I also basically maybe a few more. I also totally like just check the look at the at the keyboard most of the times. I look at the keyboard, not at what I'm typing at all, and then I read over the what I've been typing. But I'm pretty good that way actually. My mom is an exceptional typist. Seriously, types faster than I think. I'm a disappointment. I learned 10 finner typer and and I'm pretty fast. Phones, however, are a bane to my existence. Yeah. Self-taught typer. Nice. I'm chatting away on my iPhone, but I do have the iPad docked in a keyboard so I can type faster with greater accuracy. Yeah, I used to have like the flip phone. Is it a flip phone where you would do like where this would slide up and then you had a full keyboard underneath it? Still my favorite phone that I've ever had because I just really liked the full keyboard. Better than a ABC days of texting at least. Am I right, lol? I don't know. It had some charm to it, the charm of how quickly after a while you could do it, of how well you knew where each letter was. I taught myself typing with a very old book for typewriters. It said not to hit the point too hard for not making a hole into the paper. How is the planning for your summer reader talk? Jesus, don't mention that. It's supposed to be in July. And I absolutely need to come up with prompts. More specifically, I guess I need to like figure out like Google Forms and all that crap, especially since what I ideally want to do is make a an automated spreadsheet the way that Maddie from Book Browsing Blog had it and Cassidy has it for Relmaton now, right? So, but I need to look into that. I know how to make automatic spreadsheets at work in Excel, but I don't like I since I don't know anything about Google Forms, for example, I don't exactly know how the info from Google Forms gets into your automatic spreadsheets, for example. So I do absolutely need to look into that. It's a good reminder that I should definitely prioritize that in April, as well as coming up with like a humongous amount of general reading prompts because with my readathon, the idea definitely as well is to have it be that you can basically pick up um, whatever book you want, or like that basically whatever book you want to read in a month should be able to easily fit into some of the prompts. I was just thinking about that before sprints. I get the community aspect, but I'm so terrible at building reading lists to say nothing of sticking to them. Yeah, but definitely also like that's why I typically enjoy more like open prompts. And I don't know, I think I was also just like a little bit unlucky with the prompts for Magical Readathon this time around. But yeah, I typically prefer them quite open so that you could also just like fit in more stuff. But here I have a few prompts where I'm really like, yeah, clouds on the cover, wolf on the cover. And I'm like, a wolf on the cover? I read a book like that in January. Unfortunately, I no longer have a book like that. Assassin's Quest is on an ongoing read along, so it doesn't really have a due date, but I am incrementally falling behind the others, so I cannot join in the chit chat. I understand. Readathons and book clubs help me choose what I'll read. Otherwise, I don't. Otherwise, I won't know what to choose because there are so many I want to read. Yeah. I love the planning. Like in any part of my life, I never stick to the plan. My plans are a list of every book I own that might fit a prompt, and I ignore the list anyway. Nice. I use an iPod when I'm out in the garden, but I'm iPad all the way otherwise. I learned my typing by myself back in the day from a floppy disk and a printed out manual. Ah, the good old days. Typewriters. My mom's typed stuff for people when I was little, and I remember getting headaches. Lol, we're so spoiled now. I had one at some point just because I liked the idea of it, but indeed, it was just so much of a hassle. I've tried a mechanical type. We will we will go back to this after the next sprint. But so, see you guys in 40. I will remember to check that I'm not muted when I come back. You should be hearing me. I am more or less 60% into the book, and yeah, I'm really into it. It's very much action packed right now. Um, Let me see. Nobody is. I hear you. Great. Let's get back to where I was. Here. I have tried a mechanical typewriter. Those really train your finger muscles. And yes, I've accidentally made holes in the paper with it. I have a small shelf for all the leftover books I placed on previous month's TBRs, so I'm never short of stuff to pick up and read. I tend to cram my existing TBR into the read it on props. Yeah, definitely when that's possible, that's like ideal. Wasn't there correction tape for typewriters too? That I don't know. I learned to type with a Mario type game when you jumped at the boxes with the letters and got points. It was really fun to do. Nice. I haven't optimized maximum points from this Keymark Discord to read it on because of trying to crowbar my existing TBR into it. Exactly, but I mean, some people want to go for all the points, but I think the most fun thing about it is just like being part, like doing it together, or just having like, you know, some extra elements to your reading game. But in principle, I don't really care about getting as much points as possible because I'm a slow reader, so I will never get to so many points. I've decided to ditch my monthly TBRs and some of my challenges and just mood read for a while. Yeah, I don't know yet whether I'm gonna give you guys insight, like the chance to decide my reading month again or not. In April, maybe I'll just like do April on my own and then have you decide on maybe May. Do I think I have a lot of new releases in May that I want to get to? Yes, there was correction tape. Okay. You had to type over it again. The best part of every Discord is the Floof channel. That's all you need. Exactly. It took me a wee while to plan out my read it on TBR, but I couldn't optimize it. I do like the optimization exercise. I want to take more pictures of the guest cat, but mostly you just get my knees while I'm wearing shorts, and nobody needs that. All of you have fun reading or whatever you're all doing. It's really time for me to go. Didn't finish Jobless Gates, but with 10 pages or so left, it's fine for tomorrow. Yeah, definitely. I hope you will like that ending. I don't actually do I remember the ending of the Obelisk in particular? I don't think so. My boyfriend has the cutest cat. Buffy, why? What did you just press? My boyfriend has the cutest cats, and somehow his toes are in like every picture. Why? Just trying to get you to have a sort of like toe fetish. Ew. Late to the party, but I'm taking over the Obelisk Gate sprint from you, Dune. Nice. You're doing like a relay race. I'm very late to the party. Hello. You are always still welcome. We still have one sprint to go, one 40-minute sprint that we will do next, and then we will be rounding things up, off. Okay. Hey, Kitty. Here with my second channel. Can't believe I missed a muted incident because I was on the phone with my mom. Good times. I also had to learn typing in school. Hated it, didn't stick. I'm so excited you talked about the magical readathon. I'm already so excited. Yeah, I'm scared for it. There are some prompts that I'm really thinking like, okay, how the hell am I going to fit those? Like specifically the Wolf and Cloud one, because there are quite a few like shorter books that I want to get to for like the International Booker, for example. But I don't think these books fit any prompt for the readathon. The chapters in the Bone Shard Daughter seem quite short. Got stuck into one. Ooh, I like that. I like short chapters because then it feels like it flies by more quickly that way compared to like these really long chapters that on audio take like over an hour or so. Yay! I hear Buffy too. Ah, such wonderful times hearing Buffy. Finished the chapter on Victorian poetry and the one on Arthurian subjects in arts. Nice. I have been scoffing on orange and rhubarb oat milk chocolate bar. It's delicious. Okay. part of their plant-based range. Very nice. Orange and rhubarb. Yeah, I've never had that combination, but I mean, they're yeah, sounds about right. Listen to 30 pages while puzzling. Nice. What type of a puzzle are you doing? Like, is it like a comedic puzzle? Is it like landscape or like, one of these fantasy puzzles? Read 5 pages. I got distracted. I just never make TBRs that go beyond one book, so readathons are anathema to me. And I rarely find people reading the same thing as me, so the conversation is also often lacking. Yeah, definitely that is also like the case. Like I like the community aspect is just that you're like, I don't know, all involved in the same thing at the same time. But yeah, in terms of like reading the exact same thing as people and thus being able to talk about them, a readathon, of course, is not ideal for that. That is definitely more of a sort of like read along thing. Though, yeah, of course, if you're reading more like new releases or really hyped stuff, you can still find people who are reading at the same time. But yeah, that's not really like that's not the ideal purpose for a readathon. I watched some more BookTube, the new recommendations video of Denise and Leanna's TBR. Ah, Leanna also got her TBR video out. Okay. Listen some more while playing Gardenscapes. Yeah, I want an audiobook so I can combine it with things. But I don't have the audiobook for this one. But to be fair, now I'm really sucked into it. So my reading pace is also like it's not like it's actually going quicker. I just like having less difficulties with like focusing, I guess. So I'm less inclined to, after I don't know half an hour, be like. So now I'm like, ooh, keep reading, keep reading. I'm like, oh no, my 40 minutes are over again. So I'm a points optimizer. I love the gamification of my TBR. To be honest, I'm most interested in that aspect. Okay. Picking out books for TBR is a really fun monthly exercise. Yeah, I don't typically like. I like it. The problem is that I like for it to be realistic, and so it gets annoying when I'm trying to put too much in, and I'm always trying to put too much in. So in that sense, for me, it just kind of creates stress that shouldn't be there. The Obelisk Gate was my favorite of that trilogy. The Obelisk Gate at points like lost me in terms of its explanation about the obelisks and all of that thing, all of those things. So at times I got quite lost in that one. My favorite is still the fifth season. I promise I'll read next sprint. You don't have to read. If some rules release new videos, they will have to wait for a bit. These sprints go fast. Did you actually like? I didn't even notice now whether you said whether you have read. Am I paying attention to this? Did you say whether you ended up reading in this sprint? Lol. The muted moments are fun for everybody, yeah. I like ending my reading in bed at night at a chapter break. The chapters in Assassin's Quest are enormous, so I often have to find a suitable place to pause. Yeah, that's now like with me putting a time constraint on my reading. Sometimes that does mean that I end like in the middle of a chapter. Of course, it only happens when I actually read the maximum amount of pages, that like a maximum amount of time that I'm allowed to read. So a lot of times I won't actually get to that maximum amount of time, and then I'm typically just, like pausing it, like ending at a certain chapter and saying like, okay, it's enough for tonight. I won't read more. But when I'm like really strict on the amount of time that I'm allowed to read, sometimes it happens indeed that it's like the middle of the chapter and then I stop it there. But we'll see. Tonight I definitely don't think I'll be able to stop in the middle of a chapter. When you get 500 subscribers, will you make a bookcase question answer session? Answer session. How will you celebrate this? I have no plan at all because I feel like I've been stuck between 400 and 500 for such a long time. And I have actually not really considered a Q&A just because I fear that nobody would actually send any questions. But I could potentially ask for some questions indeed. I do try to watch and comment on all Packfellow videos and some other booktubers I love. Yeah, I always feel so guilty because like I have so little, like I really spend so little time watching booktube nowadays. It will definitely go up again once like gymnastics season is over, and gymnastics season is also already less busy at this point in time, because like for like up until, let's say, last weekend, the more or less every single weekend there are like four gymnastics meets or so for me to catch up to. So that means that I'm just watching a lot of gymnastics, and that time will go back into booktube watching, I guess, afterwards. But so now I kind of feel like guilty sometimes because I'm like, yeah, like I am a creator myself, and I don't take the time to support other creators by actually watching their stuff. But yeah, at the moment, I just really don't have much time to do it, or don't have enough time to do it and balance like all of my other stuff that I'm trying to balance this year. Right now, I'm doing puzzles online. Oh, geocaching. Nice. The picture in this case are pictures of nature. Nice. I did a lot of Duolingo. Nice. Currently have a quest where we're supposed to do 65 lessons, like a friend's quest, or is this like the monthly questing? Because the monthly quest used to be easy, but I've fallen out of, like, I've been a little bit demotivated with Duolingo, I guess, recently. So now I only do the bare minimum, and then those monthly quests are actually quite difficult. I'll start part 4 of the companion now on Arthurian adaptation and retelling in the 20th and 21st century. Really looking forward to that. Research for Sunday school. Okay. There was a whole bunch of smack talk in the Key Mark Discord. Absolutely ton of gifs being flung back and forth. Smack talk between the 3 different teams of the readathon, I mean. I'm still reading the 5th season. I love it, but it's not a book I can read fast. I can understand that, yeah. I don't give a page count, but I did mention the short chapters of Bone Shard Daughter. Good thing that I actually know which books you're reading, and even then I had to think about it for like 2 minutes. Time constraints on reading seem too strict for me. I just read until I cannot keep my eyes open anymore. Yeah, it's an experiment, of course, and now, but I'm actually not really minding it all that much. Um, as I said, most days I don't actually get to the time constraint, and in the weekend the time constraint is off because I would struggle more with sticking to the time constraint on the weekend, I think. But in the week it's actually quite nice, and of course the goal behind it and the reason why I find it relatively easy to stick to it is because I'll then just remind myself, this is what you decided to do to try and make sure that you also still allow yourself time for other things such as YouTube, such as movies, and gaming and all of those things. And so, um, yeah, it's a way for me. It's actually a nice way for me to like control my reading in the sense that because I put this super random constraint on there, it allows me to like not focus so much on getting as much reading done as possible, you know? Now I can just blame this time constraint. Not that I even blame it, but now I can just be like, whereas before I would be like, oh, let's try and get as much reading done on the last day of the month as possible to try and potentially still finish this book. Now I can be like, yeah, it's not possible. I have too many pages to go and too little time that I'm allowed to read, so it won't happen. And that whole sort of pressure that I weirdly enough put on myself just disappears like that, even though the weird rule is also coming from myself. So it's just a weird way of tricking my brain. YouTube gymnastics is what I am to motorcycle racing. Some really busy weekends can see me watching some 15 hours of this stuff. Yeah, actually, this weekend is like the regional championships for the college gymnastics scenes in the US. So I will have some of that to watch, which I'm looking forward to. But I actually didn't fully watch everything from like 2 weekends ago neither. Um, but I am hoping to watch quite a bit over the weekends. It's a friend's quest. Okay, we each done like 10 so far. Yeah, and I would be. Am I the one? Is it because that would no? I have definitely not done 10 so far, so it's definitely not me that you're stuck with. Because otherwise, I would be like the worst help, having just explained how I'm like doing just the bare minimum. I had the same with fifth season. There were some fast bits, but in between it was a bit slower. Yeah, definitely. Like it's a little bit of a challenging book, if we want to say it like that, which I don't even feel like is the case, but yeah, it's a very different style and things like that. So it definitely takes a lot to get into, and there's a lot that you kind of have to figure out yourself. Do you start a timer on your portable telecommunications device and have it blarp at you when your reading time is up? I track all of my reading with Forest nowadays. Part just to have it registered now so that I have the statistics, even though I actually also add the statistics to my spreadsheet that I'm maintaining at this point in time. But yeah, I track it through Force, and then at the end of the day, that way I know how many minutes I've read, or when I'm going into like a new sprint, I can see like I've already done this amount of minutes today, so I still am allowed that amount of minutes. And so it does, like my phone is on silent, but I do hear the buzz when the timer goes off in that sense. So yes, but I won't like immediately drop the book the moment the timer goes off, you know. But typically if I'm in the middle of a chapter, I will get to the end of the paragraph. But if it says like one page until the like in currently in my ebook, for example, if it says like one page to the end of the chapter, I will still read that one page. Also, didn't help when I was crying and couldn't see the word with some parts of the fifth season. Do you think the rating constraints will reduce your annual books read count from 100 books to something more normal? Oh wait, because what is it now? Let me check, because I'm actually not really keeping track of it that well. So currently I have read 20 books in the first 3 months, which if we're keeping to that pace, it will mean that I will have read 40 books in half a year. So it will be lower if this is the standard, but it's still more than okay. And in terms of pages, I actually think it's gonna be quite okay as well, because we're at 7,207 pages, but I feel like page-wise, it's actually not been that much lower than it was last year. I don't know whether I can actually see that. Why do you say that I need a plus plan? I thought I did have the plus plan, because if I look at 2022, I'll see the entirety. I want to see the first 3 months of 2022. I'll have to look into that afterwards. The short chapters in the Bone Shard Daughter are introducing lots of character viewpoints at the moment. One character has made me raise an eyebrow. Yeah, it has an animal companion. It is an animal companion book. It's one of the only things I actually know about Bone Shard Daughter is that it has an animal companion. I am about one book ahead of schedule, and you are still twice my rate. Slow reader, lol. Yeah, I mean, slow and steady wins the race. As I said, there is no race, and definitely slow and steady in the case of reading is not winning the race. But slow and steady means that I just still spend a lot of time reading, and as a consequence, I get quite a bit done. Is anyone else watching Fate slowly melt into that blanket? But Fate is the best. Like she has an uncanny ability to melt into things. The funny thing was when I was at the vet the first time, she just like really like tried to disappear into the table. She just like melted onto the table and made herself like as thin as possible. I'd never seen a cat do that. I'm 9 books behind schedule. Yeah, I don't know. Wait, did I put a goal on there? Yeah, my goal is 52 books as it has been every year, so I'm more than on track, of course, for that. That's a cat. Also, only thing I know about Bone Shard Daughter. Yeah. Maybe it's time to ditch the schedule. Exactly. There is no schedule there. Doesn't need to be a schedule at all. I liked having it at 52 because I know that now that I'm on BookTube and reading so much, it's easy breezy for me. Whereas, few years before joining booktube, that definitely was a challenge, and now it's like, oh yeah, that's fine, but I don't want it to be that much of a challenge that it will tell me you are behind schedule. So I prefer my challenge to be like something nice and achievable, because in principle the number doesn't matter to me at all. Me in public melting into the furniture. Yeah, you need to take a training from Fate. Didn't know about an annual companion, but it seems I guessed correctly about this new character. I guess so. And all right, guys, this will be the final sprint. Let's get some more reading done and see you guys in 40. All right, we are once again at the tail end of our weekly reading sprint. How did you guys all do? I don't. Where did I start? I think I started at 51%, and now I'm at 62, so 11% further into it, which is nice. But I probably will still read a little bit more uh, outside of my allotted time slots. Eh, This is where I was. Reading should never be about the number of books. It's supposed to be fun. Yeah, definitely. But sometimes I was like, sometimes I just get tempted, which are like, "Ooh, let's see if I can read one more, one more, one more," because you're like, I want to read all the books. So tend to. Sometimes I'm like tempted to keep on trying to put in as much books as possible because that way I get to more books and then like, yeah, no, I get some more reading done. Whereas I do also have other hobbies I want to be balancing it out, and sometimes the reading was just taking over too much of my life that way. I have so many books. If I set a goal, then I get more read, which means I buy more books and my TBR gets fatter, which makes me happy. Vicious cycle. I also don't mind if I reach my goal or not, but I do like to know how many books I've read. Yeah, definitely. I do like to see it, as I like stats in any case, so I like being able to see that. Though my least interesting stat to me is the number of books. I more like to look at like the genre division and stuff like that. I like to get the badge from Goodreads every year when I hit my goal. Yeah, definitely. I'd still need to update my Goodreads because I haven't updated it since uh, more than a month, I feel like. So I do need to update it at some point so that that one is also up to date. Missed it one time though, and I was sad. I can imagine. It's been touch and go for sometimes, but I've always just managed. Yes, I also do track my books out of interest, but I don't care at all how many there will be at the end of the year, and I really try not to compare with anyone else. Yeah, definitely. Comparing isn't very healthy. In any case, you can draw comparisons with like 50,000 people, and then you'll always do better than some and worse than others. But typically, when we are comparing, we are not comparing ourselves to the people on the lower end of the scale. We are comparing ourselves to the people with the extreme amounts of reading productivity. It definitely helps me read more as opposed to sitting staring into space, which I'm often prone to do. I can while away many hours pondering the sky. Uh, Skipped. I very much like the data and seeing what it tells me. I like what I've been reading more that I've been reading more books these past few years. I like having targets. I like achieving those targets as it drives me on. Definitely. 3 posts done, or one half done, lots of images resized and edited. Nice. Listen to 30 more pages while puzzling, also nice. 23 pages of Percy Jackson's Titan Curse, and I really like it. Perfect. I forgot I started an audiobook last night, so I did some of that. Nice. Took a shower and put an eye mask on. Now back to my audiobook. Great. Finished a chapter on Mark Twain's Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, and I'm now in the chapter on T.H. White's Once and Future King. Eh, What are you listening to exactly? Fate of the Fallen, which I always forget I own. Wait, Fate of the Fallen, is that. Where are you? This book is not where I thought it was, apparently. Do I? I have this book, right? If it is what I think it is that the Calcade one? I really don't see it. It's the Calcade one, right? I read some from Hearts of Fears and Broken, bought the third book in the series, and did some Duolingo. I still need to do Duolingo today. I'm enjoying keeping my reading streak going on the story graph. I made sure that I check in my reading progress nightly, and it gives me a lovely monthly chart of my up and down progress. Nice. Yes, the Calcade one. Yeah, I have it scheduled for a reread in July, I think. Somewhere around there, somewhere in the second half of the year, I will be rereading it so that I can then jump into the sequel, Dawn of the Dead. So, yeah, eager to see what you think of it. Um, but yeah, I've really been enjoying Kushiel's Chosen. I think I enjoy it more than I've enjoyed the first one, Kushiel's Dart, just because with the first one it took a lot more time for me to kind of care, I guess, about the characters and stuff like that. It's like a slow build, and I don't have mind slow builds, but it just has a little bit of a longer period of time in the book before I was like, "Ooh, I'm really, really enjoying it a whole ton." And with this one, I also have that sort of, "Ooh, this is interesting" type of moment, which only came 50% into the book. But before that, I was already like much more invested and enjoying a lot more because I'm already invested into this world and into these characters. But so yeah, I'm really enjoying this read right now, which I'm happy about because to some extent I was kind of dreading it in the sense that I was worried that I would have that same experience where the beginning of it dragged quite a bit, and so I kind of feel like I needed to push myself to keep reading. But I'm happy to be able to not like to be able to continue without that issue. It's now 9 p.m. Requesting permission to go to bed early and read my book there. Definitely feel free. The book is also calling. The bed is calling. The book is calling. I will definitely still be doing some reading in bed as well, I think. Yesterday it went fine because typically nowadays if I read in bed I can like I get to a few pages and then I fall asleep. But yesterday I did get some full 40 minutes read in my bed without falling asleep. Do you think I'd like these Kushiel books? Nah, I don't know. I really don't know whether that would be something for you. I haven't yet been tempted, I must admit. It's it's a difficult series because based on the premise I was also not interested because based on the premise I felt like it was going to be like very romance heavy or so, or like not necessarily super romance heavy, but it would be like focusing in a lot on that because of the fact that she is like a courtesan, and so it would be a lot about seduction and things like that, I guess. But in principle it actually surprised me a lot. It's very much more like political, very much more about like intrigues and like figuring out the court intrigue that is going on and trying to unravel people's schemes and plots and stuff like that. But the other stuff of course is also still there to some extent, so it isn't written in the way that I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I wouldn't say like it's automatically going to be a win for you, but it's definitely not romantic, though there is like a romance that I absolutely love in it, but romance is definitely not like the center of this. I'm getting worried I've once again bitten off more than I can chew for Sunday school. Yeah, it's these are like intricate topics. Romance makes me want to hurl, I'm afraid. But schemes and plots sounds a lot more interesting. Yeah, it's definitely not what I thought it was gonna be, and so that's kind of what I mean with like the first book, like taking a turn that completely caught me off guard, and which is like at some point I was like, oh wait, this book is going in a completely different direction than I had anticipated, which is then sort of the turn into plot twist, intrigues, treason, all those things. I'll be reading at least one more hour before I go to sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna try not to stay up until 11. I'm gonna try and keep it somewhat shorter. But on the other hand, I do also want to watch that TBR video that Becca posted. So probably it will be after 11 in the end. But yeah, I say that as if it's a bad thing to stay up so late, but the past 2 days I've been able to get up to early to go to work, and like have been at work seven like at 7:20 or something like that. So I've definitely not been struggling too much with the schedule now. How's the cushy along going with you tree hosts? Good, good. But we're basically only doing it on Discord for the moment. We've been trying to find a date to do a sort of like live show for the first one. But maybe at this pace we will just like read the first tree and then do a live show. We will see. Are you all keeping pace? Yes, yes, we are keeping pace, but I believe that Michaela from Bia Mika has decided not to continue past the first one. She didn't enjoy it enough. I do like to read some romance, but it has to have some story or other things I like baking or food or something. Yeah. Time's up. I am off to bed with permission, having been granted night night. See you. Thank you for the sprints and good nights. Thank you, good nights. Yeah, see you guys. I haven't scheduled ones for next week yet, but normally I don't know why I wouldn't have them. So normally they will just be there for next week and then the few weeks after that as well. So you should normally see me back next week as per regular scheduling. But thank you guys for being here during these 3 hours and hopefully got some things done. And yeah, see each other